You're listening to Koast Radio, online and 106.6 FM, bringing the community together in South East Northumberland.
Koast Radio, your local community radio station.
Hello, lovely listeners, and welcome to the first ever show of The Sideline. My name is Steve.
And my name is Luke. This is a weekly show that is dedicated to the local sports scene, both professionally and within the community.
That's right, guys. Every week this show is going to give that unsung hero a voice. How are we going to do that?
Simple. We all know someone that makes your chosen sport a better place, whether that's your local coach who's there come rain or shine, or that team manager who just doesn't know the meaning of 9 to 5.
Whoever that is, whatever sport you're a part of, we want to hear about them.
Not only that, but every Sunday as part of the show, we're going to have a weekly guest. Now that will include some professional sportsmen as well as some local community heroes, and I guarantee you this is not a show to be missed.
Oh, and as if that isn't enough, we will go to play some songs that mean a bit to us, which will hopefully resonate with some of you guys at home. Which brings us lovely to our first song. This is the start of our journey, and we're really pleased to have you on board. So break out the crackers, because here comes the cheese. This is hopefully Journey, Don't Stop Believing.
And that wasn't Journey, Don't Stop Believing. Steve's mistake, he's going to take it on from here.
Start as you mean to go on, brother. Start as you mean to go on. Okay, we're going to give that one more go. We're going to try it again. We're going to say this, and I'm semi-confident. I would probably say about 72% confident. This is Journey, Don't Stop Believing. Please, for the love of God, please let it be Journey, Don't Stop Believing.
We didn't expect the Pallontini, so thanks for that surprise, Steve. Journey, I don't know a single person that doesn't like Journey.
Me grandmate, she absolutely hates it.
So, well, maybe there's one.
Anyway, that's not important. That might not be her favourite song, but we want to know about what your favourite song is. More importantly, we want you to get in touch with us about a song that's linked to a sport and memory. So whether that's a song that gets you so fired up you're ready to fight Mike Tyson in a phone box,
or even a song that just gives you that laser focus that's needed to complete any challenge in life.
You can message us on Facebook or tweet us on Twitter at Koast Radio,
or just even drop us a text message on 07858 429 316.
At 5 p.m, we're going to pick the best songs accompanied with the most interesting stories. Make sure you get in touch, because we're going to do a 15-minute takeover. That is your chance to get your song on the radio.
Awesome. You know what, Steve? I'm actually glad that we had them songs in there. Imagine Dragons, we've brung the thunder today, and I'm glad that we actually started with Journey, because it's actually up for us, even as mates. I feel like we've been on a journey. As cheesy as that sounds,
bit soft, but that's fine. I'll let you go with.
It's actually representative to everyone out there and anyone listening. We'll all have our personal journeys in life, whether that's relationships, friendships, and careers ultimately. And that sort of like brings us on to talk about, like, career-wise, when we're talking about sport. What's helped you on your journey? Because I know that you've coached professionally and within the community. So there has to be a particular person, or even a few people that have helped you along your journey. And I mean, to get to where you are now, hosting community radio. But yeah, so who's helped you on your journey?
Yeah, mate, no, it's a good question to get us started, if I don't say so myself. No, mate, to be honest with you, to back up your cheesiness and to continue the theme of the show tonight, if I'm being honest, mate, it's my dad. You know, he's probably listening at home now, so I'm not just saying that. But if it wasn't for my dad, I don't know what I'd be doing in life, never mind just in sport. For the listeners who don't know, me and Luke, fair to say, mate, we're a bit mischievous, bit jack the lads, is it?
I would say so, yeah, I reckon so.
Yeah, mate, so, you know, like, we were doing things, you know, brought up the council estate, hanging around Killy Lake, shout out to the Kilmath crew. And, you know, we got a bit of bother as kids. And then my dad created the rugby club, and started off as a bit of a youth group, really. And then it kind of evolved to this amazing project which just got everybody engaged. We got all the local community people involved. We got our mates giving us something constructive to do. Instead of hanging around Killy Lake on a Friday night, you know, we were playing rugby. But I tell you this, can you remember, this is how poor we were as a rugby club. Can you remember the time that we snuck into a school car park because we couldn't afford floodlights to train with?
Oh, of course, mate. It was like scenes from Dodgeball.
It was, mate, it was. I tell you what, mate, we had bloody good footwork there, though, dodging all them cars, didn't we?
Well, absolutely did, yeah. You had no choice. It was either dodge a car or
I remember also, mate, there's a time, right, where we were so clubbing, we were so poor as a club, and I'm sure people listening at home can relate to this a little bit. We literally couldn't afford any change rooms. So my dad, being the wise so-and-so that he was, he got organised to and it got changed in a boiler room 20 minutes before the cup quarter-final. Now, this boiler room, we then found out a year later, got closed because the hazardous asbestos inside of it.
Well, that's killing off for you, isn't it?
Mate, no wonder Pop was good. He had 3 arms.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, mate, I love my dad a bit, but he couldn't book facilities for toffee.
That actually reminds me of a time when after the rugby club, I had defected and played for a junior football club in the same area.
Boo!
I know. Bad decision, I can say, because I couldn't play rugby or football, to be fair.
True.
But it actually reminds us of a time of when, you know, these community clubs have got no money. I went to play for this junior football club, and at the time I think we were about 15 or 16, and a lot of we just made our own way where we used to walk there, and if I'm honest, we weren't that good. By this point, my parents didn't care about coming to watch. We weren't entertaining anyone. So anyway, the gaffer of the team had his own business, had his own van. So when we were playing away games, there wasn't enough cars for us all jump into parents' cars. So the gaffer would pop it all into the back of his van, this panelled out van, no lights in it, might I add, and there was at least 6 to 10 of us.
Sounds safe.
Yeah, exactly. Every away game packed into the back of this van.
Jesus.
Now, I kid you not, there was more injuries going to away games than there was in games. And this is North East Sunday League amateur junior football, where people hack each other to bits.
You got to love health and safety back in the day. Imagine trying to do that nowadays, man.
Oh, honestly, mate, it's a good job we never got stopped by the police.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Well, there's our first opening 2 good stories, I think. But I'm sure there must be more out there. We can't be the only 2 people, mate, in community sport that's dealt with something like this.
There's got to be more.
There must be, mate, must there? Why don't you do us a favour? Drop us a message, drop us a text, give us a call on 01670 432 107. We'll give you a shout out, we'll read out your best stories, and I think it's time for another song. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was at this point going to bring in Imagine Dragons and Bring the Thunder.
I must be having deja vu. I think we've heard that before.
I think we have, yeah. So if you could just play something else on the list, that would be fantastic.
I'm going to give it a go, but I'm not promising anything. All right. Why don't we say, what's the song you want to pick next, mate? Go on, pick a song.
Pick a song. Bruno Mars, Lazy.
Okay, how about you pick AC/DC, Thunderstruck? This is AC/DC, we think, Thunderstruck. Awesome. That, of course, was AC/DC, Thunderstruck, not Imagine Dragons, because we've already had that one on before. Anyway, we've had a pretty good response to this for places of getting changed. Thanks very much for John for getting in touch. John has texted on 07858 429 316. John said, I once got changed in a cow's field, due to the football field being on a farmer's land.
I think that's pretty standard, if I'm honest, mate.
John.
And if there's one, I just don't think it beats ours yet. I mean, potentially asbestos is life-threatening, and we were subjected to that due to poor facilities.
Exactly.
So, like Steve says, keep your stories coming in. If you think you can beat ours, good luck. So that's great. So I know that we're having a bit of a laugh and a joke, considering me and Steve haven't done this before. And
I don't think you can tell. Do you think you can tell?
No, it's running smooth.
You know,
tight ship, mate.
I think if we have less than 10 errors in the first hour, is error saying what? Do you know? If we have less than 10 errors in the first error,
success,
mate.
How do you define a success? That's a success.
That's a success, mate.
That's it. And we'll catch on to that sort of
That's
stuff.
That's number
later. 6. So. And I mean, the reason that we're talking about these things is that because they're fond memories that just show how passionate about coaches and how much they love sport and how much, you know, like you remember being a youngster and enjoying the community aspect of what you're involved. So that sort of brings us on to the next sort of little section. And what we want to talk about is fond memories that you have, sporting memories involved in community sport or watching your local team, however it may be. And I'm going to kick off, Steve. And we've spoke about this privately before, but this is my most fondest memory, believe it or not, is watching Newcastle get beat 5-0.
Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be a fond memory of watching your beloved team get whopped 5-0?
Exactly. And I'll tell you why, though.
Come on.
Not because it was a great and sporting memory, clearly, but it's a fond memory that I cherish as a youngster.
Okay.
When I was 16, I went down to Stamford Bridge away game to Chelsea, for anybody that doesn't know Stamford Bridge, with 2 friends. We'd been to a few away games.
You had 2 friends?
Oh, believe it or not, yeah. You were 1 plus 2.
Wow.
Yes, believe it or not. So, 16, went down to Stamford Bridge with 2 mates. I'd been to a few away games before, with one of the lads' dads, and it was always good crack. The atmosphere is always better in an away game. If anyone's been to an away game, you'll understand the atmosphere is unreal. So anyway, we get to Chelsea on the train, me and 2 of my friends, not make-believe. Anyway,
Tom and Jerry.
I'm a baby-faced 16-year-old lad.
You've had a hard paper on me. You're not baby-faced, buddy, lad.
I know, but at one point I was. I could not get served in Newcastle for love nor money. I did actually once look young, and I think I wore a size 2 shoe until I was about 15, and I'm only a 3 now. So I couldn't get served in Newcastle anywhere. We're stepping into the pub at Chelsea. I'm a little bit nervous. Got served straight away. Pint of Corn, Foster's, whatever it was. Felt like a right boss. Pre-match drinks happen, and as you would imagine, being the massive beast that I am, have 1 to 2 pints, and I'm as drunk as a skunk.
Some things never change, Andy.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't take a lot to get me drunk. So to paint the picture, I'm 16, I'm as drunk as a skunk, with my 2 pals in the middle of London watching Chelsea. It's Sunday the 9th of November 2003. We had Gary Speed, God rest his soul, playing for Newcastle, Shearer and all the likes. And at the away match, the whole crowd, they never sit down. We're abusing Joe Cole on the touchline. Glenn Johnson scores the opener. And to cut a long story short, we get smashed 5-0. Right? The game is absolutely terrible. There's fans saying, if we score 1 goal, I'm going to jump on the pitch and I'm going to streak. You know what Newcastle fans like, mate? They just take it to the extreme. But it was great crack. We even, when we got to the train station, jumped on the first train back. Like, the Czechs didn't even interest themselves coming into our carriage.
Oh, yeah, had a bit of class. The ticket inspectors, who we massively respect.
The conductor.
The cornerstone of our nation.
They wouldn't even dare come into the carriage, because the carriage was packed out with Geordies, drinking cans, just chanting. And the absolute atmosphere in the carriage, I'm surprised the train didn't come off the tracks.
Yeah.
And you know what it was, mate? It was one of them times where you're just with your mates and you just have them fond memories where you didn't have a care in the world.
Yeah.
And for me, I'll always cherish that memory, even though we got smashed 5-0.
Interesting, mate. It's an interesting one. I mean, you know, I don't think we'll get many texts saying I love it when the 2 got beat 5-0, but you know, you've made a good case. You've made a good case. Funny enough, my one isn't when my team that I was supporting gets smashed. You know, you can call me crazy or whatever.
And many have.
And many have, and many will go on, especially after this show. However, mine, let me just paint this picture for you, buddy lad. You've painted your picture.
Right,
Let me paint this picture. I'm a basketball fan, Newcastle Eagle fan. I used to be part of something called the UTA.
So there's, one of 2.
I'm one of 4. All right. I used to be part of something very proudly called the UTA, which stands for Out of Tune Army. Okay.
Right.
So anyway, so we're in 2005. Had to remember, had to do a bit of research last night, checking Facebook pictures, scrolling through my pictures. And I realised it was 2005 when the Newcastle Eagles won the basketball finals weekend at the NIA Arena in Birmingham. So basically, if any of you guys have been on this if you've ever been to an Eagles weekend, a basketball finals weekend, sorry, in English, you'll know that the semi-finals are played on a Saturday and the finals are played on a Sunday. And at the time, everybody hated Newcastle Eagles because we were the best. We'd already won the cup. We were top of the league. Obviously, we won that trophy as well, and that meant we're going into the semi-finals, the highest placed team. Anyway,
nice to see a Newcastle team winning.
It is, fairness. Well, let's be fair. We'll talk about the Eagles a bit later on, but mate, the Eagles are the most consistent Newcastle side I believe that's ever been. You know. Anyway, moving on. So we played this team called Guildford in the semi-final. We whopped them. They weren't that great, you know. And then we were playing against. We had the Scottish Rocks in the final. And what happened was, basically, I'm sat there. You were talking about having a few beers and stuff at the night time.
Yeah.
We were doing the same, you know, right? And we're in this pretty small stadium, and I've got the Sheffield Eagles fans to our left. They hate it. They were bitter rivals. You've got the Guildford ones at the top corner. They weren't too fond of it because we just beat them in the semi-final. You obviously had Scottish Rocks opposite way. And to add a bit more spice to the occasion, mate, there's a guy called Prince Charles Smith.
Right.
He played for Scottish Rocks that season. Left the Eagles to go to Scottish Rocks. But he only played 3 games before he got a bit homesick and came back to the tune. Right.
So there's a little bit of rivalry there.
Little bit of rivalry, but everybody hated Charles Smith for it. Of course, we loved him for it, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, to be point, we were sat there in the stadium. Everybody hated it. Everybody singing anti-Newcastle songs, and the Eagles in the final were absolutely on fire. That Charles Smith, okay, he could have hit freeze from the parking lot, okay, or the car park in English. Honestly, mate, he was absolutely amazing. And I just remember my experience of it, my memory of it, okay, was literally, I don't think I watched too much of the game, but I was just literally singing all for 2 full days. There was no bother. It was a great atmosphere, you know, there was a bit of rivalry, but there was no bother. And in the end, Charles Smith just kept draining free after free after free, and we ended up winning the game, I think, by about 12 points.
Awesome, mate. It's one of them sort of hairs on your neck end, isn't it?
Oh.
Like the hairs stand on the end of your neck. You know what I mean?
I think I know what you mean. I don't think anybody else does, but I think I know what you mean. Okay, so that to me was my amazing moment, because I think that it just capped an amazing season. You know, like we won everything, but it was the atmosphere. There was literally, being honest, mate, there was only about 40, 50 Eagles fans in this stadium, but we outsang every single one. And it was that camaraderie. The Eagles fans came up and celebrated with Charles Smith, just had that bit of spice.
That's what we love about sport, isn't it? That it entices you and it gets you and it enthralls you into its dance.
It does, mate. So I've prepared a little something for any Eagles fans. Okay, this is called the Zoba, and I want you guys at home to clap. You can't sing along because there's no words to it, but you can clap, you can smash plates, whatever you want to do. Okay, are you ready for this, guys? This is the Zoba. You ready? Is that coming through?
It is, mate. Loud and clear.
Everybody now.
Yeah, clap along.
Gets a little bit faster.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go, fastest bit now. Clap along, Luke.
I'm clapping.
Look at that. There we go. I tell you what,
that one's for the Utah, eh?
That was for the Utah, the Out of Tune Army. You know who you are. We love you all a bit. We still do. I tell you what, mate. Well, that was radio. I was prepared for this radio show.
Why?
I was smashing plates and all sorts. I was getting well into it. I was like, the dog thought she was under attack.
You weren't drinking flaming sambucas, were you?
No, I wasn't. Anyway, mate. Okay, so we're going to play another song now. Okay, now.
And what song was that?
I don't know. I'm going to look at it. Luke, would you like to introduce your song that reminds you a little bit about your wedding?
Oh yes, so I was going to start this one with this song was created based on the day that I was born, but clearly that's a lie. This was the first dance at my wedding and means a lot to me and certainly my wife. This is Take That, Rule the World. Fantastic song. So Terry's got in touch via the Facebook just to say, remember that time all the Newcastle fans were applauding Steven Gerrard when he got subbed after bossing it at St James's Park. Like, what a fantastic memory, and it's great to see that when fans do that, isn't it?
Yeah, we're a good
couple of opposition for extreme ability, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, mate. No, that's it. I kind of think that's a beautiful thing about St James's Park. You know, like, I mean, you know yourself. You've been to a lot of away games with your two friends, and you know, like, for me, we had two friends. Yeah, catch on, mate. Sorry. Yeah. So, but for me, when you go to St James's Park, you know, it's just different, isn't it? It's just like a different atmosphere, isn't it?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Honestly, mate, it's absolutely insane. So, but yeah, mate. So for me, what I want to discuss now, though, is I want to know, have you played alongside anybody who's a professional sportsman before? Like, I know we've got a few funny stories. For the people listening at home, me and Luke basically we've been best mates since we were 5. So you'll probably hear
unfortunately.
Yeah. I was one of them two friends actually. I pushed the other one. I'm a little bit jealous. I'm a little bit protective. But no, mate, like, obviously I know the story. But I think it's a funny story, so I want you to tell the folks at home. Who did you play football alongside?
Well, not so long ago, actually. I did a charity match at Carrow Road, and I played alongside Adam Drury, who was playing for Norwich.
Aye.
Do you know him?
No.
Not many people do. I don't think he's super famous. But to be honest, maybe you should Google him. He's a pro. But I mean, I haven't actually really played with that many pros. Well, any pros, if I'm honest. And it just makes us think back.
What a good start of the story this is, by the way.
Fantastic. It does lead on to furthermore. I mean, I do think back to when we played junior football, and it actually reminds us of playing with people at school. Shout out to Kelly Middle School. They had a fantastic team. don't know how I got into it. And at the time, there was a couple of lads there that were just brilliant, that were just way above everyone else in terms of ability and talent.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame that they never made it to the highest level in my eyes. They were absolutely fantastic. But I tell you what I do remember. So I haven't played with anyone famous.
Yeah, we can.
And I haven't actually played with anyone who made it famous. But I do remember a time that we together met a professional. We've never played with him, as we've established I'm nowhere near that level. And I think we were about 18 at the time. We went out on the drink in Newcastle. And believe it or not, if you can remember this, Steve, we met Jermaine Jenner's Icon.
Who?
Exactly. Icon of all places, if you remember
I
that.
love Icon.
So, we met Jermaine Jenner's. We were 18, young and dumb. Still dumb, but not young. And you went over, bold as brass, and talked his head off. Chatted for I don't know how long. And then the next day, we, get up, hangover, shake it off because you're young. And there's a few rumours flying about Newcastle that Jermaine Jenner's is thinking about leaving. And the reason that he decided to leave Newcastle was because he felt like he was in a fishbowl. And I will always remember that Jermaine Jenner's left Newcastle United because of you.
In my defence, right, did he ever go to play at an amazing level? I mean, I'm sure he's a lovely lad.
Premier League and international for England.
Anybody can play for England nowadays, man. What does he do now? What does he do? He's a presenter on Match of the
he's
Day.
like a commentator, isn't he?
Commentator, yeah. So, not still playing the game. He's not a top manager. Jermaine, I think he should have bottled it. I think he bottled it, if I'm being honest. But I've got a better story than that. It's not an alcohol-related story because, some people listening at home might start to think we're alcoholics. So I was very fortunate the coach for a professional rugby side called Huddersfield Giants. And I don't know, I was down there for a month or whatever at that time, and I get a phone call from one of the coaches, one of the rugby coaches. Yeah. And he says, "Hey, Geordie," he says, "You're a Geordie." I was like,
"Geordie, you're a Geordie.
Well done, son. Your powers of observation are beyond you." He says, "You must like football." I says, "Why? I bleed black and white. I'm not very good at it, but he's like, bring your trainers, bring your football boots, whatever. We've got a game."
Right.
I'm like, all right, okay, I'll be able to.
So you had to bring your football boots?
I had to bring my football boots.
Right.
I think they're the same as normal boots, but it's just when you play football.
Right.
So I'm just like, and I'm like, all right, okay, I'm thinking, I'll rock up and there'll be like the team manager or something from, Huddersfield Town or somebody, somebody who's a bit older, a 40-year-old bloke with a beer belly. No. Lee Clark, Steve Watson, and for the people who remember way back when, a guy called Paul Stevenson, who was a centre-half for the Toon for years ago.
All right, okay.
So I'm looking at that. All of a sudden, I think I text you.
This was where Clarkey was in charge of Huddersfield.
This was when, good point.
Huddersfield Town.
So Huddersfield Town used to have Lee Clark was the manager. Terry McDermott, he didn't play, he was about 80. Obviously, Steve Watson was his background staff, and obviously Paul Stevenson as well. Yeah. So I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm about to live every young lad's dream. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you remember, but there was a place called Keegan's Park.
Oh,
in
remember
Kilmore,
it well.
And Steve Watson opened that.
Yeah.
And I was gutted I never got to play alongside him or at least try and kick him once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Your MO.
Which leads me on to the story. So we're playing football and everybody's got to Clarky. Everyone's calling Lee Clark. I call him Clarky because I don't know him. Right, okay. Everyone's calling Lee Clark Gaffer and all that. I'm like, it's just different. Pro rugby and pro sports, very different atmosphere. It's very different dynamic in the dressing room and stuff. And the coaches call the head coach Gaffer all the time. Yeah. Even though he's best mate, we still call him Gaffer out of respect. Anyway, nobody was really going to Lee Clark. When he had the ball, all the Huddersfield Town coaches, big guys.
Give him a bit of respect.
Give him a bit of respect. And there was a 50-50 happened, okay? And for the listeners who don't know, a 50-50 is basically where I've got 50% of chance of getting the ball and you've got 50% of chance of getting the ball, right?
Basically, throughout Stephen's career, he is slow and very slow. And if he can't get the ball, or even if he can get the ball, he will take you out.
I'm not very good at playing football, but I'm pretty good at stopping people who are.
Yeah.
Anyway, within the rules or not. So, me and Clarky go through this 50-50 and, excuse the pun, it's not in me to pull out. Right. So we'll go through this 50-50 and I come out better. I couldn't believe, right? Lee Clark, Clarky. Yeah. My mate Clarky.
Yeah.
He goes flying up in the air.
Newcastle legend,
yeah. And he lands on the deck and the whole, everybody stopped,
Right.
All the coaches and Town and Giants stopped.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. So he bounces up. I'm like, yeah, right, mate, I'm really sorry and I'm just clumsy. And he goes, it's all right, young'un. And he pats us on the belly. I remember going, I don't think that's going to be the end of this,
He has got it in for you, my friend.
You just know when you've got a feeling, don't you?
Yeah.
So I get the ball, and I am quick, you cheeky swine, and I'm running down the wing like Flash. I was gone like Seabiscuit. Anyway, and all I hear is these footsteps.
Right.
And I turn around, and Lee Clark absolutely wellies us.
Right.
He smashes it into the boards, like the cage five-a-side thing.
Yeah.
And I go up in the air. I thought he broke a rib. And I hit the deck, and he comes up and he's like, "You Harry young'un?" And I'm thinking, no, I'm not. But I'm a rugby lad. I'm trying to save face. So I'm breathing in me broken rib, and I just pat with the belly like, "It's Harry young'un, it's Harry." Mate, honestly, I have never felt so much pain in my life, and I kind of just thought that's the kind of mental toughness between between amateur lads.
Yeah,
like it was totally within the rules, but he made sure he got his back.
Yeah,
straight away.
It's that thing about being a pro, isn't it? Like they're that much sharper, that much better.
They are, like.
They're just it is there. So that's what Gambit for pro talk, really, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, absolutely. So we wanted to bring this subject to light to make people aware of actually how difficult it is for young people to make it as a professional athlete, professional football player, whatever, basketball player, whatever it may be. Now, some of the stats are quite massive, really. I couldn't think of a word because my vocabulary is so small. But there's a large-scale FIFA survey that has shown that 256 million people worldwide play football. So that's just everyone, adults, children, you name it. Now, there's a 2015 survey that shows that around 2.7 million children in the UK play football. In comparison...
It's a lot of kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Tennis has 442,400, basketball 152,900, and rugby has 196,000. And I think that's the good rugby union.
Body lads.
So we'll leave that for a later date.
We will.
So the question is, though, if you look at the amount of people that will have engaged in the sporting community, this is children we're talking about. Just how difficult it is. I mean, how many out of 442,000 people playing tennis?
Yeah.
How many British tennis people do you know? British tennis stars? Andy Murray.
Andy Murray, that lass who's not British but she pretends to be British.
Yeah.
Who made the semi-final.
Yeah.
Got beat off Venus Williams.
I don't know. But yeah.
Polish sounding name.
There's none that come to our head.
No, there's not.
Rugby. Predominantly we play rugby, so there is the Lions have done well recently, so that's brilliant. Yeah. Basketball, I don't know any English basketballs, but that's probably me being a little bit ignorant.
I know a few, but you're ignorant, yeah.
Yeah. So, but to reiterate the point, it's almost a lottery in some cases.
It is.
Even though you might have the best ability, the best work rate, the best skills, and you might be the most talented, but sometimes it can just count for nothing. And sometimes it's just being in the right place at the right time. Now, what I want to sort of address today with yourself and any listeners, if they're still listening,
well, I hope so.
If I haven't put you to sleep yet, could you text in, tweet in, and message the Facebook page just to say, and I want to pose this question to Steve because he's worked with a lot of professional athletes.
Yeah.
Do you think that there is something that sets the pros apart at the junior level? Is it mentality? Does that mentality have to coexist with ability?
Yeah.
How does it work, mate? Have you seen people where you think, I know they're going to be pro?
I'm loving this, mate. I think this is a really good point. We'll get our teeth into it. Our Facebook page is blowing up at the minute, so I'm going to just take a few seconds to give a few shout outs if I can. To Matthew and Johnny who are listening, who bear with me. Bless them, they are only 7 and 4. Matthew and Jonathan have requested Happy. And I'm pretty sure that's just to perk everybody back up again. So Matthew and Johnny, thank you for listening. For you, this is Pharrell Williams, Happy.
Then what a brilliant song.
Wow, that didn't sound forced at all.
I know.
Do you like that song, mate? I think that sounds quite good.
It is a fantastic song.
I'll tell you what, mate, let me just do a quick shout out to Matthew and Jonathan again. I think apparently I've got another message on Facebook saying they were upstairs. They clearly weren't listening the whole time. They're clearly not that committed. I mean, they are 7 and 4, so respect for listening that a little bit longer. What do you think? We'll let them off with that one? We'll let them off with that one, all right. Yeah, what were you saying, the sorry about the stats of the
so obviously, great song. We'll get straight back into it. What do you think sets the pros apart, or do you think there is something, that sets the pros apart at junior level?
Look, I've been fortunate enough to work as a bit of a scout for a bit of a period of time as well, and I've met a load of coaches and scouts that say, when they see a player that's made it, like a David Beckham or whatever, and they turn around to me and say, I knew he was going to make it then. And I always kind of think, do you? Because I don't think people take into consideration, right, how many things happen or change by the point of however you're under 7 to 16. Kids are getting signed younger and younger these days. Man United have got like an under-9s coach.
Yeah.
How can
no one really ever counters in the variables that you're talking about, like
that's the thing.
Hormones and all them types of things.
Do you know what is fascinating, right? Okay, so you're looking about... For the listeners, Luke loves his stats. You love your stats, don't you? Yeah?
Oh, yeah, I'm a stat man.
You are a stat man. That could be the next song. You should request it. Ring in. You can even give us a ring on 01670 432 107. Do you like what I did there?
I did. Beautiful.
Good lad. Okay.
Beautiful.
But a stat for you, though, okay? So for the Olympics, for the when the Great Britain did the best ever Olympics, when they held the Olympics at the London Games, they did a study on all the players, all the athletes, sorry, not players, all the athletes coming in.
Yeah.
And they realised that the majority of the athletes were born between September and December.
Oh, yes, you've talked to me about this before.
I've mentioned it, I've bored you. Oh, you love it. Oh, that's good. Okay,
Yeah.
so basically for the listeners at home, what that means is what happens is talent scouts or scouts in general and so on, talent ID people, they go in and they pick up the biggest kid. Now, the reason 9 times out of 10 the biggest kid is because of the oldest of the year group.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you imagine our structures, we always have like the year 7 competition.
Yeah.
We all know that year 7 who's got a tash and who drives. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he's going to be the best athlete in the world. So, but the fascinating thing is now what's starting to happen now is sport, and coaches at home listening will back us on this one. They're starting to gear more towards like psychological skills.
Right.
So not to bore everybody at home, but basically what they're starting to think now is it's more about problem solving rather than how big and strong you are. But then again, I was speaking to a coach the other day, and I can't mention his name, but he works for England for Rugby League, and he was telling me that all he wants now is big, strong kids.
Big, strong kids.
So I was like, we go back to the problem solving.
So not the thinkers, not the talented, creative players that know how to play and understand the game. Nope. Just somebody who's a unit that's going to get points on the board.
He wants a big man. He wants a big kid, man or woman. But they want big kids. So it's just your take on it. But to go back to your original question, there's so many different things that can happen between point A and point B of making a professional.
Yeah,
there's so many different factors consideration. Let's tell you a quick story about this, right? Okay, so I've got a lad here, one of the nicest kids I've ever met in my life. Okay, we've got this young man. I'll give him a shout out. He's called Lewis Davey. Okay,
right. Shout out Louis Davey.
Shout out Lewis Davey. He's generally one of the nicest kids you'll ever meet in your life. And I say he's a kid. He's 21, but he's always going to be one of my kids, right?
Right.
Anyway, Lewis was a really small kid. And we took him from football, and he wasn't the best footballer in the world and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, he came up with it was a semi-final. No, I tell a lie. It was a cup final, and we were playing against a side called Peterlee Pumas.
Right.
And mate, like it was our biggest rivals. Okay, and like the room was just so electric, like that. You know, it's like when you're in that change room before a game.
Yeah.
Anyway, I look over and I've got a prop who's 15-year-old, and he's just nutting the wall.
Right.
Mate, do you know what I mean? He's just banging the wall like
it's like a Mike Bassett thing when Gary Wackett's smashing the wall before
exactly,
he runs
mate.
out.
We've all seen them. They're all like, they need to shave when they're 12 and stuff. He's just massive, and he's just angry at the world, and he just wants to eat things, right? So anyway, he's banging the wall, and then I've got the sewer prop, and I say to the sewer prop, I goes, Cookie, how are you feeling today, son? And he goes, oh, Steve, someone's going to get it, you know?
Yeah.
And I says, Lewis, how are you feeling? And he goes, I'm fine, thanks, how are you?
Right.
2 minutes before kick-off.
Cool as a cucumber.
2 minutes before kick-off, right? He now plays for Keighley.
Right.
Okay, which is decent grade down in Yorkshire, okay?
Yeah.
And anyway, that's when, if I ever knew there was a player who was going to make it, that's when I knew he was going to make it, because it didn't matter what the occasion was.
Yeah.
You used to be him 2 minutes before the kick-off now, at a youth game. I think, he's actually made the first team now.
Right.
You'll speak to him.
His mind was just
his
in the
demeanour,
right place.
Always chilled out, relaxed, and his job.
Yeah. Interesting though, that young man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you did know him personally. I mean, say otherwise if you didn't. But what was his personal home life like?
Oh, mate, he had a really supportive family. They were lush. They were absolutely lush.
Oh, brilliant. Well, we've had a request for some songs coming in, so we'll play a few songs. That's the first one, I'm hoping, keep my fingers crossed, will be Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody.
It is. Who's this for then? Who's
this
Queen
is for Terry. He's requested that.
Terry, thanks very much for requesting it. This is Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody.
So, Terry, believe it or not, I know a lot of Terrys, too many in fact. has messaged in to say that Messi was born in June, believe it or not. Shortest kid in the year group.
Well, that's the thing with that, mate, is Terry's, first of all, stop being so literal.
Yeah.
Terry, and I say that because he's a mate of Luke's, and we could say that. You know, if it was random Terry from Blythe, I don't think I'd say that because I'm not that brave.
I won't say what he did say about Skelton born in June, because that's not appropriate for the year.
That's not appropriate at all. But no, obviously there are exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
You know, Messi, one of the greatest football players ever.
Yeah.
Ever
And
born.
on the flip side, he did say Pele and Maradona in October, though.
Well,
Point
there you
proven.
go. Exactly. So, you know, like somebody who's got a bit more time than we have, dig out all the stats, have a look at it. But yeah, you know, like, and this was just for athletics, Terry, as well. So, you know, like, we're not talking about, you know, an evasion sport such as football. We're talking about things like shot put, javelin, sprinting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, you know, batted that one right back. Okay, so we'll start the 15-minute takeover a little bit later because we're just having such a good time. We're having a bit of a laugh, weren't we? I've had a good time.
Yeah, I mean, speak for yourself. But
I mean, I'm slightly terrified still. You know, I've lost about 2 stone of sweat. But thanks very much for everybody for getting in touch for the 15-minute takeover. We've had loads of replies. We've had loads of messages. We've replied to all of them as well. But to start off, this one is for Jeff. And this is Coldplay, Charlie Brown. And Jeff's got in touch saying, ever since I saw them at the Stadium Light in 2011, it's been a song for me to give me energy before every rugby match. Oh, a rugby lad, I like Jeff already. And even when studying, it gives me that little bit of boost to keep on going. So
hold on a minute, he's a rugby lad, he can't be studying.
Rugby union players are very well educated. Okay. So to start off with a Coldplay, then we go with Outcast, Queen, somebody called Niall something, Blur, the White Stripes, Daft Punk. That is your 15-minute takeover, and it starts now.
Great selection of songs there. All the listeners, not viewers, in fact, because we're on radio, have a fantastic taste in music. Just want to do a big birthday shout out to Rachel Hewson, undisclosed age, who is listening all the way from Marbella with the girls. Happy birthday. I hope you have a fantastic night and you've had a fantastic weekend. Thank you very much for listening.
Well, I've got one as well. Not quite Marbella, but also a big shout out to Brian and Sue, listening from all the way from Ashington, just around the corner from us. Of course, not quite Marbella, but it's close enough. Okay, getting straight into it for the final half an hour. Can you believe we've only got half an hour left, mate?
We have waffled on for quite a while.
Waffled. I mean, it's flew by. I mean, like probably not from everybody at home. You know, like you are still listening, going, Jesus, what time are these guys off? Curry starts soon. Anyway, all right. So we're going to go to this next section called Toon Talk.
Toon Talk.
What's that about, Luke?
I would imagine it's about Newcastle. So here we go. Obviously, this is a heavy, dense area for football, isn't it? Everybody in the area.
You're dense.
Yeah,
sorry.
I am, absolutely. Anyone who knows my maths knows I am dense. So, yeah, they just basically chit-chat about Newcastle, mate. See what's been going on. Obviously, they've made a couple of signings recently, haven't they? They've recently signed that Javier Manquillo from Atletico Madrid.
Yes, excellent player, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that one, by the way, being ex-Macam and stuff? Are you bothered or are you not bothered?
I think it doesn't bother me as long as he turns up and he
doesn't bother me,
plays consistently, isn't it? That's
exactly.
Newcastle fans always want to see heart and effort and work effort, don't they? So,
yeah, man.
You know, like I'm happy as long as he puts in the performances. It seems to me that we're building a little bit of a Spanish contingent in some places. So
might have something to do with the gaffer though, mightn't it? I mean, you know.
Potentially.
And then again, based on that logic, like Pardew must have been from France or something, or Le Pardew was his called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just a rundown of who we've signed in case anybody hasn't realised. They've brought in Jacob Murphy for 12 million.
Yep. Toon fan, Geordie, yeah. Do you know why he's not a Geordie? He's born in London, but he was actually a Newcastle United fan. Do you know that?
His parents are
Gateshead.
Gateshead,
yeah.
So that's interesting because it means he's going to work harder for the jersey, doesn't it?
Does it? I don't know. Go on. Anyway, keep going.
Well, yeah. There's Joseph Murphy, who's come in from Everton. He's a 19-year-old centre-back. You've got Stephen O'Connor from Arsenal, 20-year-old centre-back. How much they'll feature in the first team, I would probably imagine.
Still waiting for Curtis Good to have a good game. Do you see what I did there? We have the next 20 minutes.
Yeah. Florian Lejeune from Eibar.
I'm so glad you said that name.
Yeah, you can.
I would call him Learpack or something.
He's, he looks like he'll probably be a regular start.
Yeah, big centre half, isn't he?
Yeah, potentially beside Lascelles or
yeah, you'd imagine so.
I don't know. I mean, I'm a big. Nah,
he's captain Lascelles, and you'd imagine he'd keep his jersey, wouldn't you?
He came for 8.7 million. So again, there's this there's this consistency that Newcastle aren't prepared to pay big money to bring in big stars, which I think will be an issue going forward. How much of an issue, I don't know. Atsu has been on loan at Everton. We've now purchased him permanently. He's came from Chelsea for 6.2
Well, he's on loan
million.
at us last year, wasn't he?
Yeah. So,
I think that's a good sign of me now,
Yeah.
because I thought he did really well on that left wing forward.
He did.
The fascinating thing for me, I'm not sure if you've seen much of the pre-season games. You see the pre-season stuff.
So I know that we got beat on. We drew with Preston yesterday.
Yep.
One interesting thing about that is that we had 3,000 Newcastle fans.
More Toon fans and Preston fans.
Yeah.
Up the lads, how are the lads?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Hearts won the other night 2-0. Dwight Gale getting a brace. So I mean, obviously, at Crystal Palace, I don't think Gale was particularly prolific.
Yeah.
However, it may be different at Newcastle. So I'm hoping that he comes in and we can provide.
I
him.
love Dwight
think he
Gale
needs
myself.
it.
I think he's a
Oh.
good striker. I think he's, you know what I mean. He's the best striker last year by a million miles.
Oh, of
I
course.
think he's definitely one number 9 at the moment. Interesting one for you. What do you think about Mitrovic? I mean, like, you know, he's scored. I think it's like, is it five goals in 6 games or 6 goals in 5 games in pre-season? Like, he's ripping it up at the minute in pre-season.
He scored yesterday against Preston.
Yeah.
And however, he's released into the media, I think it was via the Chronicle when I was looking it up, that he potentially doesn't know if he's going to be at Newcastle. He said, you know, obviously he's hot in Newcastle, but you never know with things like that. And obviously Benitez, what's going on with the goalkeeping situation, you just don't know what he's thinking. And I mean, he's a Champions League winner, so you can't question
Oh,
him.
you've got to back him, haven't you? I think. Yeah, go on, sorry.
Mitrovic, the other thing is, Benitez has been quoted saying that he wants a striker, which is a good
we
thing.
need another striker. We definitely need another striker, don't we?
And if they're willing to spend the money, I mean, some of the names that are being linked, these are being linked all the time.
Go on.
Bas Dost from Lisbon, he would be in the region of 35 million.
Wow.
The other one is Andre Gray from Burnley.
Yeah, I'm not sure I fancy that. I don't think he's a 20 goal season striker, is he really?
And he would still come with a price tag of 15 million. Even though
Very
he's got
similar to Dwight Gale as well, type of player,
Yeah.
as he's young, explosive lad.
one season left on his contract. There's more potential news in terms of transfers for this midfielder, Badou Ndiaye, the Senegalese international.
You're great at pronouncing names, you know that. Honestly, mate.
Some would say I'm articulate, my friend.
Oh, right, okay.
Jack Wilshere, that is being bandied
No,
about. However,
why?
I believe that man.
The
wants to
physios
stay
are
in
busy
London.
enough as it is. Leave him alone,
And you'll be talking in the region of 20 million for Jack Wilshere.
Right, okay, so this is all interesting saying, you know, we're talking in the region of what, 35 here, 15 here, 20 here. My concern about this is Mike Ashley kind of, is he willing to put his hand in the pocket? You know, we had a fallout in January, him and Benitez. Benitez was promised to be able to recruit whenever he wanted.
Yeah.
Came in January, transfer window. Did we sign anyone at all? I think we got.
I can't
remember. I don't think we signed anybody. It wasn't a massive name. If it was, it was maybe a squad player. I can't recall, to be honest with you. But again, it wasn't that like massive name. He then came out with the media and said, "I'm going to give Benitez a war chest when he gets promoted."
Yeah.
He's got promoted. Where's his war chest?
I totally agree.
Do you know what I mean? So,
and the worrying thing is for Newcastle fans is that when this happens, we are being promised the world at our feet on a number of occasions. Generally, when we're talking about finance, and it never happens. Now Benitez. Pardew might be different, but Benitez?
Benitez?
Yeah.
It's his cousin.
Yeah. He's Portuguese. But Benitez, in fact, he is a man that can attract names to the club.
Well, aye.
You know,
Definitely
we would be able to attract bigger names. Regardless, it's irrelevant that we've just been promoted. With Benitez, we could attract bigger names, potential names. And
well, for example, you talk about there Pepe Reina.
Yeah.
But why do we need to have a goalkeeper? That's a bit that's confusing me.
I think this is worrying for all Newcastle fans. Nothing's really being released. They're trying to have a little scour before the show to find out the ins and outs and dig deep for it. But
got to dig deep.
Darlow looks like he's going to be moving on, but we've not really sort of seen any news. Darlow actually was in the squad yesterday and came on at the half time for 26 minutes, but then was replaced by Freddie Woodman.
So he started Elliott, didn't he? He started Elliott.
Yeah.
So he's kind of given all three goalkeepers a bit of a chance, sort of thing. I don't get that, but
no.
I'm not
you're going to have
so
more friendly games. Give them a game each, potentially.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter about the
could have
result.
been a hamstring injury or something. You never know, but yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it?
But normally they would come out and tell you that. They
Yeah,
would say
I agree with that. Yeah.
suffered injury, and there has been rumours that Adrian from West Ham is a potential target for us.
But that's talking about Darlow going the other way, though, isn't it? As well, was it? I'm sure.
If you want.
I'm sure. Let's just say yes. There's no need to Google that one.
Facts don't matter.
Facts
Not
don't
on
matter.
this
You should
show.
have asked some of the stuff that we've been saying all show.
So at the minute, I would like to go on record here because I believe this is being recorded, so we will get a copy of this. I would like to know what your stance is on our prediction for league position.
My stance, the
let's
viewers,
try and be
okay,
as
my
accurate
stance.
as we can. Let's try it say within sort of 2 to 3 positions within the
I
league.
would say anywhere between 9 and 13. I'd be really pleased with that first year.
Realistically, you think that we can achieve between 9th and 13th?
Yeah, I think so. I think that if he would really get the recruitment right, but for me, the figures what Benitez has brought in, he's brought that stability, he's brought that belief again.
Yeah.
You know, like now we had a bit of a dip in form, which teams always do that. No team realistically is going to bond for the championship and be that intense for as long as they can. But for me, Benitez has been there, he's done it. The fans love him, the players clearly love him, and they all want to play from him. I think that'll go a long way when it comes to when we're in the thick of it, and if things aren't going great. I think we'll get 1 or 2 decent signings across the board. I think he'll bring in, he's brought another fullback. I think he'll probably get another goalkeeper. I don't know why. I think he'll definitely get another striker in, fingers crossed. We'll just need somebody who's got a bit more of a better goal scoring record. Don't really want to bring him in. I don't really want him to bring another forward in the sense of someone who's going to take a year to settle. I think I don't think we're in a relegation scrap, but I don't think we're in a position where we're going to be able to say, right, we can with this squad we've got now, we can rely on bringing 2 or 3 foreign imports in there to give them time to adjust. We haven't got time for that. But I think if we do that, I think we'll finish 9 to 13.
To counteract yourself, I am going to go a little bit different. I am going to say 14,
there's a surprise.
14 to 17.
14 to 17.
14th to 17th.
This is the man that enjoyed watching Newcastle get beat 5-0 behind right at the start of the show, so you know.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy the result, but okay, if you want to peg that, if you want me to make me the villain, that's fine. We have let a lot of players go that seemed promising. We have let go a youngster who was 17 to Everton for 6 million. Now, I'm not sure really how much profit you can be making from 6 million for someone that's 17, who's obviously tipped to be that good. But that shouldn't really affect my prediction. We've let go Mababu, never really was in the first team. Torvain, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I mean, we got a good return on him.
Yeah, good riddance to bad rubbish. He never cared. He didn't care about the jersey, did he?
No. Anita, good squad player. He's went on a free to Leeds.
That's amazing. That though. I mean, he's pretty much Benitez like star right back, centre back, striker, goalkeeper last year. What do you really?
Isn't he? I mean, he's not a world beater, but he'll come in and do a job when you've got injuries
for free as well. That's just he's been promised something at Leeds for that to happen. Hasn't he? He must have been promised the armband or double
position in the position he wants to play.
Exactly. It's like football manager.
So
yeah.
Gouffran, again, another squad player.
Good that he left. He's not much ability, but he had a really good work ethic and stuff,
worker.
you know.
That's what you want. There's a couple of other people went on the free. Saka's went on the free. Vukic's went on the free. Amiobi's went to
Not the last Amiobi.
Yeah,
every team, every two,
dynasty, isn't it?
Every Newcastle. Like, I don't know if he's got any brothers or sisters, but if you have, hurry up and get the 18, will you? We need an Amiobi. We need an Amiobi. Fact. Sure, I'll come back. So all forgiven.
So, I mean, personally, I think we are going to struggle hugely. I don't think Benitez will get the finance that he needs. He does have the ability to get the best, but in the Premier League now, it is so competitive. Your West Broms, your Stokes, they're all going out spending money. They are as competitive as ever. I mean, even think Brighton. Brighton played brilliant last season. They were unlucky, extremely unlucky.
How about Huddersfield Town? Shout out to the town. Do you see the guys they've recruited, man?
Yeah.
They've got some really, really big...
I say yes, but I actually haven't got a clue.
That's all right. There's no need to Google that one either. Lovely. Right, okay, guys, so we're going to take a short break. We're going to play Chemical Brothers. This is from the lovely... Let me find that out. This is for the lovely Karen from Blythe. And this is Chemical Brothers, Hey Boy, Hey Girl. It was never ended, is it?
No, I know,
it just didn't want to go.
Mustn't have liked me voice.
No, I don't know.
So we're just going to keep with the theme with football for this week. The idea or the premise of the show is that we're going to be covering all community sports, and as the first show, we're just trying to find our feet in all honesty. So in future, please get in touch with me or Steve if you are from the community. Any stories, anything like that, anything you want me to cover.
Messages on Facebook, send us a tweet at Koast Radio.
Even get in touch with me personally on my Facebook personally, or even my Twitter account. I'm at Luke Skelton 4.
What a plug! What an absolute plug that was.
What's yours, Steve? What's yours, Steve Beatty Rocks?
I don't know.
Stevie
I think it's
Rock.
Beauty Underscore Rockets.
Beauty underscore
I'm not
Rocks.
very technical.
But please, we do want you to get in touch, because I've found just starting the show that it's extremely difficult to find out community news in particular.
Yeah, I agree with
Trying
that,
to find out, we want all sorts. We want netball, cricket, mixed martial arts, any tournaments, news, anything you've got going on. Please get in touch with us, because we want to feature you on the show. That's what this show's about.
We can come along and pre-record things as well, so don't worry if you're a little bit shy and you don't fancy being like an idiot like me and look over here and talking live. There's always ways around things. We want to hear about your good stories, because you all do such an amazing job. We really want to have a chance to highlight that. Anyway, what's the last bit of news?
So, keeping within the local area for football. So, just trying to find out the Ashington news, any Ashington fans, Ashington Football Club, news. They have lost Ian Skinner as a hedge coach, I believe.
Hedge coach?
Hedge coach, yes.
Yeah, he's lost it. He's ready to go cut some grass and all sorts.
Well, you know what, them maintenance guys are good at keeping all the grass good. So maybe that's what he was.
Them hedge coaches are just a nightmare.
But I believe, actually, for my articulateness, he is the head coach. And I believe there's been some internal matters. I wouldn't want to do it any injustice. I know that as part of the article, Steve Harmison said that he's gutted that they are personal
Is that the
friends.
cricketer? I'm sure it's a cricketer, you know. I'm
Maybe
sure I
we should
read
get him on the
somewhere.
show. Steve, will you come on the show, mate?
Yeah, I'm sure I read somewhere that Steve Harmison is a football coach, cricket fan, a cricket player. He used to play for Durham. I'm sure he played for England, mate.
Yeah.
We're totally being ignorant here, by the way.
We should find that out.
We should find out, yeah.
Yeah. So I believe that they are good friends, and when I read the article. They are actually in pre-season at the moment. The first game of the season is going to be against Newton Aycliffe on Tuesday the 8th of August at 7:30 in the EBAC Northern League Division 1. I had a little check about, definitely, yeah. Had a little check for Blythe Spartans there. They're currently in pre-season at the moment as well. They've only lost one friendly, I believe, to Carlisle. And they've got their first away game on the 5th of August. That's the first game of the season for Blythe Spartans. So shout out to any Blythe Spartans fans and players.
Yes, of course, yeah. Lovely. Is that the last two bits you got?
Yeah, mate, that's the last two bits for that. So.
You kind of mentioned next week and that, so, speaking about next week, as we kind of mentioned at the start of the show, every single week we're hoping to have a guest on that. Now, that's either going to be somebody who affects your local community or even some professional players lined up. Now, again, we can't give too much away, but we've got some pretty big stars. And I remember that when I actually found out, mate, I went and rang you straight away.
Yeah, I remember vaguely. It was about 2 weeks ago.
It was 2 weeks ago, yeah. We had a very nice meeting at a very big stadium, maybe in the centre of Newcastle, without giving too much away. And we got the confirmation that we're going to get a pretty big name on the show. So we're looking forward to that. But also we want the people who are in the community. Now, the reason why I mention the community is because next week we have a community development coach coming on the show.
Awesome. Who is it?
There's a guy, okay. Now, it's going to sound a bit strange. It's a gentleman called...
There's a guy.
There's a gentleman called The Bear.
The Bear.
So basically, if you live anywhere in North Tyneside to Alnwick, your child may, if you have a child that goes to primary school or high school, it's a good chance they would have been coached off The Bear. Now, he's a rugby development officer, okay, community coach / development officer. So naturally, that's where the link comes from. And he's going to be on next week, and he's just basically a barrel of laughs. He is the entertainment factor.
I can't wait to hear his jokes.
He has a saying, okay, says he puts fans in the stands, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong, okay. So this is the legend that is The Bear. He's going to be joining us live from 4 till 5 next week.
Do you think you can put listeners on the radio?
We'll find out, won't we? You'll either put listeners on the radio or you'll get us chucked off the radio. Either or. We're happy to have him on board. You know Bear, don't you? You've met Bear a few times.
I'm excited. I'm excited to meet him. He's a good guy. He's a funny guy, and I hope he's listening at home now, and I hope he's got a pen and paper and he's writing down some stories, because I know we're going to interview him, and we're going to make the community aware of what he does and what his organisation's about. Okay, but I also want to hear some funny stories from him.
I think he's going to have a few. I've got a good feeling about this interview.
We may have to vet him, because I feel like he's an off-the-cuff guy.
I feel like we need to get a time delay. I need Marty, if you listen there, pal, to come on in. Show us how good time. No, I'm only joking. He's an absolute gent. He's a gentle giant. He basically looks like a human wardrobe. And he's the size of a wardrobe, but he's an absolute gent. He's a lovely person. And we are really looking forward to getting him in next week. So, mate, I've had a blast tonight.
Yeah.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I've loved it.
It's the first one. How many errors do you think we were on?
At least 70.
At least 70. See, I was going to be confident. I was going to say a strong 9.
Strong 9.
I don't think we're in double digits.
No, maybe it's not yet. No, maybe
But
it's
then
not
again,
yet.
I count them. So, listen to all you listeners at home, for everybody who's messaged in, thank you so much. We've literally been bombarded via text messages, via Facebook direct messages as well. The phone's been ringing off the hook. We are so grateful. I know there's a few of you saying, why haven't you played my song yet? We haven't had time to get them in, but I promise you, we wrote them all down. We are going to get them in next week. This is the final one for a lady called Catherine who's listening at home. This is her favourite song, which is Limp Bizkit Rolling. But before that, have you got anything else to finish off with?
Just
Sorry,
say
mate.
it again. No, it's all right. Just a big shout out to everyone. If you can't get in touch with me, certainly follow me on Twitter at LukeSkelton4. Steve doesn't even know his
Shameless.
Twitter. Get in touch with one on Facebook. Please follow Koast Radio on Facebook and on Twitter as well.
At Koast Radio,
at Koast Radio.
Lovely. You can get in touch with us. You can ring us on 01670 432 107. So,
get that song on, mate.
for Catherine, this is your favourite song of all time, apparently. This is Limp Bizkit Rolling.